Hello there.
Theodore Kenobi.
Yes. So we just watched the Obi Wan Kenobi show. So the first two episodes dropped over the weekend.
Yes.
Actually dropped early. Disney pulled a fast one for streamers because
Yeah, that's true.
everybody thought it was going to come out the normal time, which is like 3 a.m. or something Eastern Standard Time, and instead it came out like 3 hours earlier or something. Threw everybody off.
As long as they didn't do it like they had it on Tom and Jerry or something. They're like that happened before with one of the other shows. It was like you put on Tom and Jerry and it came up with like another show that people were waiting to watch.
Oh yeah, they did that. Did they do it with the Snyder Cut or something?
Yeah, it was Snyder Cut.
HBO Max did that,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Put Tom and Jerry on and you were watching the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, like a week before it was supposed to come out.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, this is the highly anticipated Star Wars series, probably the most anticipated Star Wars series.
Yes.
And so we got the first two episodes. So, episode 1 begins with the longest intro compilation video ever.
Yes.
It's like 5 minutes long, compiling everything that ever happened in episode 1 through 3 of the prequel era.
So basically, you don't even need to watch the prequels now. You just watch this.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the Jedi cut of the prequels. So it boiled it down to just the Obi-Wan and Anakin stuff. Actually, it begins with Order 66, which it reminds you numerous times.
Yeah, it's like on repeat. It's like execute Order 66.
Yeah, it just says it like 500 times. Because apparently clone troopers forget if you don't keep telling them so.
Yeah, exactly.
So in the movie where Palpatine says, execute Order 66, actually he was just sitting in that chair for like days just saying, execute Order 66 over and over and over again.
Yes, exactly. It's like playing what's it called? Fortnite.
Yes.
That's what it is.
It was the message that was heard across the galaxy.
Yes, exactly. Over and over again.
The dead speak. So, yeah, it starts with Order 66. We see some younglings in peril.
Yes.
But from clone troopers, not Anakin.
Yes.
In this case. And there's one youngling in particular who's like a little black girl, and I'm pretty sure it's heavily implied she's the main villain character, Reva.
Yeah, Reva.
So then it cuts to 10 years later. So this is like episode 3.5. It's like directly between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope.
Yes.
And we're introduced to the Inquisitors, who are a major facet of the Star Wars Rebels show. And we get the Grand Inquisitor, fifth brother, and third sister. Third sister is Reva.
Yeah, Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester as the Grand Inquisitor. And then the green dude, and then third sister.
Yeah.
They arrive on Tatooine because they hunt down a really stupid Jedi called Nari.
Yeah. And they keep saying like Jedi will always show up to doom themselves, basically.
Yeah, they like reveal themselves because if somebody's in danger, they'll come out of hiding and try to protect them or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I think Reva threw like a knife or something at the bartender or something.
Yeah, it threw the knife at the bartender, and then it like stops in midair because it was like this because someone's like, well, there's a Jedi in there using the Force. That's actually where you kind of see where Reva's kind of ruthless compared to the other Inquisitors.
Yeah, compared to the other ones, she's just like ruthless and just wants to kill all the Jedi.
Yeah.
But he does manage to escape, and then we're introduced to Obi-Wan, who works at apparently a meat packing plant or something.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I thought it was like whaling in the middle of the desert or something. I don't even know.
I don't know.
Desert whaling.
It's kind of like a meat processing facility or something, but it's like a conveyor belt just like out in the open desert. It's like,
and there's a bunch of guys just cutting up meat,
and then he cuts off a little sliver that we have to talk about this. He cuts off a little sliver to give to his camel every day.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what the point was. That was.
So apparently Opis, or however you say that name, are carnivorous camels.
Yes.
So they that was
eat whatever that meat they were making.
Banta meat or something. I don't know. But yeah, that was a revelation.
Yes.
So apparently they have meat-eating camels in Tatooine. And then he goes back to his cave, has his nightmares about Anakin.
Yeah, you can kind of tell he is like almost like tortured into that point.
Yeah, it's PTSD stuff. He has an obnoxious Jawa that comes and trades with him.
Yeah, it steals his own parts and then resells it to him.
Yeah.
And we get to see the origin story of that plane from the first movie.
Yeah, that was necessary. Do you ever want to know the origin of the T-16 Skyhopper model that Luke swings around like one scene?
Yeah.
In the original movie? Well, here we get it. Apparently Ben bought it for him.
Yeah, from the Jawa in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. And then Uncle Owen shows up later on, gives it back, throws it back at him because he's like, we don't want your crap.
Yeah, we don't want that model. He's a farmer, not a Jedi.
Yeah, so we don't want that crap. And Obi-Wan's like, we need to train him. And then Owen drops the biggest bombshell in the history of Star Wars insults. And he's like, what? Like you trained his father?
Yeah.
And then everybody in the background goes, oh!
Yeah. Like, I'm going to end this whole man's career.
Owen's got sass.
Yes.
Everybody has sass in this show. We got a little bit of the Kenobi sass in a couple scenes, which Kenobi's well known for his sass, especially in the Clone Wars show. But we got Owen, but we maybe got a little bit too much sass from Leia, but we'll get to that.
Leia on the other.
She's just
I didn't particularly like Leia as a character.
Yeah, so Kenobi's watching over Luke.
Where he just runs off, like they're working and he just runs off and then just starts acting like he's flying.
Yeah, he runs off, climbs onto the front of his house. He's just flying on his house like Snoopy when he pretends to be the Red Baron.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like literally what's going on. So he's under the alias of Ben. And so Kenobi's just doing his thing. He's just watching over Luke, getting insulted by Owen.
Didn't like the Jedi that the Inquisitors are hunting, he like went to find Ben Kenobi and he's like, my name's Ben, not Obi-Wan.
Right. Yeah.
Like, whatever happened to you, Obi-Wan? Used to be cool.
Yeah, used to be somebody.
Yeah, it was like, no, you're like, I'll give you some advice. Just change your name and just bury your lightsaber in the middle of the desert.
Go home and rethink your life.
Yeah, go home and be a family man.
Exactly.
Pretty much, that's like it.
But he's like, Nari or whatever his name is talking about fighting the war or whatever, and Kenobi's like, the war's over, we lost.
Yeah, it's like, I was there.
And then Nari's like, what happened to you? And he's like, I just told you, we lost.
Yeah, we lost. I literally was there.
We're just trying to survive at this point. So, but Nari's not good at doing that because Nari ends up getting killed immediately after and strung up in the town square. And then Reva shows up and threatens Owen.
Yeah.
And then Kenobi.
Reva's trying to find Ben Kenobi or Obi-Wan. Right. That's like that's her major thing, is just finding Ben Obi-Wan. Because he's like the biggest, I think he must be like the biggest target or something.
Well, yeah, he would be. I mean, other than Yoda, there isn't a bigger Jedi out there. Like, he's the last of the council members.
Yeah.
And then we occasionally get teases to Qui-Gon, but he never actually is able to communicate with Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Because his ability with the Force is like really diminished because he hasn't really been using it for 10 years.
Yeah, and he's almost like cuts himself off at some point, it feels like.
Yeah, he probably did. It's like Luke in Last Jedi or whatever. He like cut himself off from the Force. And then it cuts to Alderaan.
Yeah.
Where we are introduced to Leia, young Leia.
Oh, yeah. It's like, I did not particularly like her character very much.
Yeah, she's a little obnoxious.
Yeah, obnoxious.
She does
like
have
definitely a younger character because she's like, how old is she? It must be pretty young.
She's like 10.
Yeah, 10-year-old. So
she's the same age as Jude Law.
Yes, same age as Jude Law at this point.
Go see our movie news breakdown for Skeleton Crew.
Yes, and probably has the same amount of sass as Jude Law.
Yeah. So yeah, she's full of sass. That's all she's made of.
Yes.
Although she does have a really good put down on her cousin or whatever.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was pretty funny. And then we get the return of the man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy Smits.
Yes.
Smitty's back. It's Bail Organa.
Yes, he's back.
Well, there is a kind of funny scene. Well, it's not funny, but it unintentionally is, where he's telling Leia about how she has to basically behave so she can be this great senator or whatever, and she can lead the people of Alderaan, because someday this whole planet will be looking up to you for guidance. Yeah.
You are an Organa in every way. One day this planet will...
So Reva finds out that Bail Organa knew Obi Wan Kenobi. So she comes up with this elaborate plan to hire a bunch of bounty hunters to kidnap Leia and then take her off world so that it'll draw Kenobi out.
Yeah, because Leia at this point, like, I guess it kind of establishing Leia as kind of like not really delinquent, but she kind of does her own thing. It's like she doesn't want to be a senator. She doesn't want to be like, she just wants to be. She keeps saying that where she's living as like almost like a prison because she can't really do anything. So she wants to do stuff,
right?
Like any like 10-year-old type of kid would be at this point. So they
Yeah.
know that because this guy's like watching her in the middle of the woods. It's like keeps showing up. He's just like standing in the middle of the woods, staring at him.
Yeah,
like Jason Voorhees or something.
Right. And at some point, she does get kidnapped and taken off world to a different planet Daiyu. And so Organa goes to Tatooine to visit Kenobi and try to convince him to go save his daughter.
Yeah.
And at first, Kenobi's like, nah, I gotta watch Luke. I'm not worried about Leia.
Yeah.
And then I guess Bail Organa hits him with that guilt thing or whatever, and it's like, well, they're both equally important or whatever.
Yeah.
So then Kenobi figures that at the moment the Inquisitors are looking for him anyway, so him leaving Tatooine would actually draw attention away from Luke.
Yeah, that is true.
So he goes out and he unburies his lightsaber in a very John Wick moment.
How did he know what that was?
I know, I was gonna say that. Yeah, he knew the exact spot in the middle of the desert that he buried his lightsaber.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna take 500 paces this way. Yes. It'll be right here.
But yeah, he digs it up like John Wick when he broke the concrete in his basement and pulled his guns out.
Yes, exactly.
The same thing, except for he still hasn't used his lightsaber in episode 2.
He just like looks at the lightsaber. He's like, I kind of want to use it.
He carries it around on his hip.
Yes.
Okay, and then he gets on a charter flight or whatever to Daiyu. So that's the end of episode 1. And in episode 2, the whole episode takes place on Daiyu, Daiyu's kind of like almost like the Coruscant underbelly type thing.
Where there's like drug addicts and drug dealers and stuff.
Somebody comes up to Kenobi and actually offers him spice or something. I thought he was going to do the go home and rethink your life line.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if that was supposed to be like a reference to that.
Maybe. It probably was. She would have shown up to him and be like, want to buy some death sticks?
Yeah, some death sticks.
So Kenobi encounters this con man named Haja Estri, who's played by Kumail Nanjiani. And he basically runs this racket where he pretends to be a Jedi, but he's not. He's like using magnets and smoke and mirrors type stuff.
And then like talking to people on this like recorder or something or whatever that.
Yeah.
Communicator or whatever.
Yeah, communicator. He's basically like stealing money from people in order to get them off world or to help them.
Which actually he does help them because
But he does, yeah. He does actually help them. He just profits on the side.
Yeah. So he's not full douchebag. He's just
half a douchebag.
Yeah, half a douchebag.
But Haja eventually takes Kenobi to where Leia is.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kenobi defeats Leia's kidnappers and rescues her. And that's where Kenobi starts doing Aikido.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. He's doing all Aikido techniques, which I thought was neat. He's a little rusty at first, but he gets better as he goes.
Yeah.
And except for the part where he decides to try to throw a Zabrak or whatever that species is with the horns on his head. Yeah. He tries to like throw him by pushing on his head and he like stabs his hand.
Yeah.
It's almost like every time he hits something, he like hurts himself.
Yeah.
Which I wonder if that's a callback to when he kicked Grievous and like hurt his leg.
That could be it.
Because he hits him and then he grabs his hand because he just got stabbed with a horn. And then he punches some other guy in the face and then he's like shaking his hand out after he does it.
Yeah.
So it's like everything he does, he gets injured in the process. And then he gets a blaster and just starts shooting people.
It's like so uncivilized.
So uncivilized. He ends up on the rooftop with Leia.
Shooting guns.
Shooting guns at Forlom, Ripoff, and Theodore Rex.
Yeah, pretty much.
Theodore Rex shows up, makes a cameo appearance. 1990s legend.
Yes.
Yeah, there's like a dinosaur that is on a rooftop with a gun shooting at Obi-Wan. And then because Reva calls out like a planet-wide bounty on Kenobi.
So kind of like John Wick.
Yeah, again, it's John Wick. It's like John Wick 2 when everybody's cell phones are ringing at the end and they're getting the bounty.
Yeah, getting messages. And I think the reason why he even goes onto this roof is because Leia sees the one. Cause you go in the alleyway and there's like Leia sees the message on this guy's bounty thing.
Right.
And she thought he was like, how do I know you're not the criminal or whatever?
Right.
Because Obi-Wan's not saying anything.
Right. Yeah, she doesn't know who he is. So she asks like, well, how can I trust you? And he's like, oh, your father sent me. And it's like, well, anybody could say that.
Yeah.
So she runs away from him. That's how they end up on the rooftop because she's running away and he's chasing her. And then Reva's doing crazy parkour to catch up to them.
Yeah.
Like Assassin's Creed style parkour.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. She was like floating around, like building, like doing these weird moves. Like
she even
just walked down.
Dove off the rooftop with her arms spread out like Assassin's Creed. Just needed like the eagle screech as she jumped off.
Yeah,
and then Leia falls off the roof and Kenobi saves her using the Force, but he has to like struggle to do it.
Yeah, because I don't think he probably is like, I hope this works. It basically was like, hopefully this works.
Yeah. So then when Leia realizes he actually is a Jedi, then she trusts him.
Yeah. Grand Inquisitor like shuts down all the exits and stuff, like all transports to close down. You can't like leave.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, because they're all trying to capture Kenobi, but like Reva's like fanatical about it.
Yeah, and I think the Grand Inquisitor was like, you're not going to be able to get all the credit. And I think he's trying to get like the credit of capturing him because he knows Ben Kenobi's or Obi-Wan's there.
Yeah.
That'd be like that's a big thing if he captures him. Be like, oh yeah, I captured Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so they end up on the roof of this like cargo port or whatever that they can't escape. And then Reva tells Kenobi about Anakin because Kenobi knows Anakin is Darth Vader, but he doesn't know that he's still alive.
Yeah, because I think the last thing he saw was a charred body.
Right, yeah, that's the last thing he saw was him on the like 2 feet away from the lava in flames.
Yeah.
So one would obviously assume he was dead. Yeah. And you can make an argument that like Vader would have been a well-known name across the galaxy, but like Kenobi literally lives under a rock in Tatooine, so
he kind of shut himself off after that.
Yeah. So unless the guys at his meatpacking plant are talking about Vader, he's not going to know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Reva reveals that to him because she's like trying to goad him to come out of hiding or whatever.
Yeah.
So
it kind of like reminiscent of the third movie, or that was episode, or Return of the Jedi.
Oh,
where he's like walking down, he's talking like, Darth Vader's like your sister.
Yeah. When Luke's like hiding in the catwalk or whatever on top of in the Death Star.
Yeah,
and
it almost looked very similar. Like it almost had the same type of like camera angles and everything else.
Yeah, like Vader goads him to come out. That's what Reva's trying to do with Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to intimidate, trying to get him to come out, but he doesn't. Kenobi stays back, but Kenobi's like visibly disturbed by finding out that Anakin's alive.
Yeah,
like he has like almost a panic attack.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was really the acting. Kenobi's or Ewan McGregor's acting is great.
That's the highlight. I would say that's one of the highlights of the show is just seeing him like Ewan McGregor's being Obi Wan again.
Yeah, his portrayal's really good. So then at this point is where the Grand Inquisitor tries to step in and take Kenobi for himself. And it causes a confrontation between Rhea and him, and Reva stabs him in the chest with the lightsaber, which seemingly kills him, but he can't be dead because he's the main villain in Rebels, at least the first season, and that takes place like 7 years after this. So he's gonna have to survive somehow. She stabbed him in the stomach or something, though, and I think Utapals have 2 stomachs, so maybe that's how they'll.
Yeah, maybe that might be it. That's probably the way they'll explain it.
But while she's killing him or stabbing him or whatever, Kenobi and Leia escape on a transport ship, and then the very end, the very last scene, we see Hayden Christensen as Vader in heavy makeup.
Yes.
And he's in a Bacta tank floating around and breathing heavily.
Yeah, breathing. And then like in the very last scene as it turns to dark and he's breathing.
Yeah. So it's really setting up Vader. And I think Vader is probably going to show up either in episode 3 or 4, I would imagine.
Yeah. He's got to be pretty close. It's only 6 episodes for this show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be showing up pretty quick. That's probably going to be the like climax, I would imagine.
Yeah, and the rumors that were floating around was that there was 2 fights between Kenobi and Vader in this show. So he's going to have to show up like next episode.
Yeah, that's got to be, because that'd be just like the halfway point, and probably the end point will be Vader fight with Kenobi again.
Yeah, because I think it's supposed to be 2 fights. The rumor was Kenobi loses round 1, and then round 2 he wins. So
okay.
It's going to be kind of like I could easily see Kenobi losing the first round, though, because he was that shaken up by Reva just saying his name.
Yeah.
When he sees Vader and what he's become and all that stuff, he's probably going to be like so shocked that he's going to barely survive the fight, probably.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's probably going to be like one of those things where he's maybe even try to like talk to him type of thing.
Yeah.
Try to like
reason with him,
internalize all this type of stuff, like you have good in you type of thing,
right? Yeah, probably. I mean, I think first Kenobi's just gonna be shocked by, what he looks like and stuff, and then he's gonna be shocked even further by how far he's gone. Like he's even worse than he was 10 years ago, and although he's pretty unreasonable then, but yeah, I think Kenobi's going to barely escape with his life.
Yeah, I can see that being.
And then he's going to train. And then he'll get his abilities, get his force powers back or whatever, get better. Yes. And then round 2, then he'll beat Vader or at least have a draw or something. I mean, maybe that's how he'll communicate with Qui-Gon.
Is Qui-Gon supposed to be in this show? At least
Liam Neeson denied it, but that doesn't mean anything. Could be an Andrew Garfield situation.
It's like, I wasn't in there, but I went to the recording studio just to see what the recording equipment was.
Yeah, especially considering the fact he's in the Tales of the Jedi animated shorts.
Yeah.
That it's coming out this fall. True. Like, that's coming out really soon, and he was there for that. So
yeah, he's probably was doing it.
It'd be kind of stupid if he shows up for a short animated show and not for the Kenobi thing.
Yeah, just to show up, be like, oh, you're in your robes. It's like,
okay. Because they don't even really need him. They just use his voice or whatever, and like
it'd be like at his house or something.
Digitize him, because he'd show up as a blue ghost if he showed up at all. He may not even have a physical form. He may just be the disembodied voice.
Yeah, probably because I can imagine like Obi-Wan probably hasn't really this full grasp of his force power since he's like hasn't used it for very long.
Right.
Maybe it just shows up like, oh, it's Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Oh, hey,
but you remember that Kenobi didn't have a physical appearance until Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, that's true.
Because when he dies in A New Hope, when he does that like "run, Luke, run," that's just a voice.
Yeah.
Like there's no body anywhere. So they could do that with Qui-Gon. They could just have his voice.
Yeah, maybe that gives him like the motivation or something to be like, or I can actually fight or something.
Yeah, he could teach him or motivate him or teach him some way to get connected back with the Force again or something.
Yeah, because I think I remember when especially in like that beginning part where it did show like the cuts of the thing. They said that a couple times about him bringing the balance of the Force, and Qui-Gon was just his voice a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if that's going to be, maybe you have a question for them, maybe.
They did feature Qui-Gon quite a bit in that intro thing.
Yeah, it showed him quite a bit. It was like a lot of that was Qui-Gon.
Yeah, so either he's going to commune with Qui-Gon or he's going to go find Yoda, but I think Qui-Gon's probably the more likely.
Yeah, the Qui-Gon seems to be more like where they're going to go with.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I'm excited to see what happens. I think the first two episodes. Now, what would you give it as a rating before we close up?
I would probably give it. I'd probably give it a 7. It was pretty decent.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I think it's 7. Like, it's not mind blowing, but it's just the beginning. It's setting up bigger things. Now, if what we think it's setting up doesn't happen, then the rating is going to go lower.
Yeah.
But if it's setting up these cool fights with Vader and like all this other stuff and Return of Qui-Gon and like all this stuff we think's going to happen, this show has strong potential to be like in the 9 range.
Yeah. Especially the acting being so good, because Ewan McGregor it's good. He's good at playing Obi-Wan. Like it's definitely, he could tell he's like he's still pretty decent with playing as Obi-Wan.
Right. People have problems with Reva and Leia's acting or whatever. I mean, I don't think the acting is necessarily bad. It's just the way the characters are.
Yeah, it's just the way characters are portrayed. And Reva, like Reva is supposed to be almost like a ruthless killer almost. I guess you could say, just like it's like she's playing it pretty well. I think she's literally just like, I'm gonna do it my way.
Yeah, and some people are complaining that Reva's the main character and it's not really about Kenobi or whatever, but we got enough of Kenobi. I mean, what more do you want? He's been living in a cave for 10 years.
Yeah, he's like there. He's just like trying to get back to where he was at.
We saw his daily routine. It's basically just that over and over and over again.
Yeah. And him like, worried about what happened.
Yeah.
Because of PTSD type of thing.
Right. So it'd just be like Groundhog's Day. You just have multiple scenes of the same thing happening repeatedly. Yeah. So this is a way to get the plot going and move it forward.
Yes.
So yeah, I agree. 7 out of 10 for the first 2 episodes, and we'll see what the series does with it from there.
Yeah, and we'll probably get all the episodes. We'll probably do the whole series here. So
yeah, we might try to do. Yeah, we'll probably do the whole series depending on how our schedules line up. We'll probably try to do weekly reviews.
Yeah. But if not, we might have to do maybe like combining 2 episodes or something.
Right.
Type of stuff.
Yeah, we've done that before.
Yeah, so
all right, so that's going to do it for the review for the first 2 episodes of Obi Wan Kenobi, which you can see on Disney Plus. So I'd say we both recommend it, so go check it out. All right, so that's going to be it. So if you like this video, hit the like button, consider subscribing for more Obi Wan Kenobi content in the future, and we'll see you later.
All right, see ya.
Bye.